Yeah, welcome to Anita Vita Rise. All right, everybody, welcome. It's Anita Vita Rise. Anita Vita Rise. Yeah, Anita Vita Rise. Yeah, Anita Vita Rise. Yeah, who can make it better? Anita Vita Rise. In all types of weather, Anita Vita Rise. Get you back together, Anita Vita Rise. Go send her a letter, Anita Vita Rise. Anita Vita Rise. Anita Vita Rise, yeah. Anita Vita Rise, yeah. Yeah. Anita Vita Rise.
Welcome to Rise with Anita Vita. I'm your host, Anita Vita, Master Medical Qigong teacher and healer. I'm so grateful and thankful you're here with me today. As you know, this show aims to amplify women's voices, have them share their stories so that they become a ripple effect of healing in this world. So today is going to be a solo show. I've taken a break from wrapping up first season, which, by the way, I closed out at 32. Oh my God, am I messing this up? 34, I believe it's 34 episodes. And so I just wanted to just come in here and say thanks to everybody who has been tuning in, everybody who's been listening, sharing, learning, and just giving you the vibes that I've always hoped to give you, which is to rise, right? And I'm opening up like this pop-up episode today as I prepare for season 2, which I know is going to be juicy and spicy. I'm just going to bring more variation for you all. Now that I got to learn all the things from what has happened and all the guests I've had and how I want to continue running the show. And, you know, it is a new year. And some of you may be feeling like, oh my gosh, I just want to chill out. I want to relax. I don't even really know what my next steps are, which is all good. And I commend you for following that part of yourself to say, hey, I'm a pause, I'm a chill, and I'm a reflect. And the reason for that is your next steps will come from the reflection. It will come from you taking a step back. Some of you have been, you know, as I'm just catching up with friends and family and such, there's a handful of, you know, of them who are sick. And so, you know, here I am just to give you some juice of joy and some juice of like inspiration to know that when those times come, you honor the actual rest, meaning you are not working, that you do have the courage to call off and call in sick. You do have the courage to say no and to raise your boundaries, you know, so practice that. So you can then come back even feeling better when you are at 100%. Because sometimes there's a lot of shame that can come from that and guilt because you don't want to take a break. Or, man, I don't want to let this person down. I don't want to let my employer down. I don't want to, you know, choose whatever hat that you're wearing currently. I don't want to let my boss, you know, I don't want to let my boss down. I don't want to let my partner down. You know, I know that a lot of us count on each other for certain things, but you can't serve from that high place of overflow if you can't even give and pour into yourself. That includes me. I wanted to keep going with the show, and I was like, man, when am I going to wrap up season 1? And then I started to feel, you know, those signs within myself like, I think I need to chill out too and relax. And why does it sound like when I hear that word, and you may be hearing it too, to relax, that it may have this negative connotation to it or meaning? And it takes more effort. So to relax means no effort, right? And what's funny is because we're not trained in that way traditionally, relaxing may not be a part of your, you know, daily rhythm or regimen or schedule, whichever, you know, goes for you and rings true for you. So there's that part of you who just want to chill out, right? And then there's that also, if you're similar to me, that other part of you that's just like, man, I'm ready to serve. I'm ready to hit the ground running. I have my 2022 goals. I know what to do. I've got a plan. I got first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. If you run businesses, you're ready to roll. There's that part too. Now, where I'm at is like, I'm in between, because for me to serve, I have to be at my highest. And then sometimes for me, in between, if I'm in between, I'm like, I know that when I'm serving, it also allows me to bring up my joy, because I know there's a lot of people who's not feeling good. But I also have to be feeling good. Otherwise, right? It's like that's the circulation. So when I am serving, it does bring me joy. Messages do come and I show up. And so as I'm, sitting here with you this evening, I'm just feeling that I want to tell you how you're going to get through whatever you're going through. That in this moment when you're listening to me, you're going to receive the medicine that you need. And that you are fully supported. You're supported by friends. You're supported by family. You're supported by those who you surround yourself with. And so ask for help and support, because more than not, whether you know it or not, people are always willing to help you and to support you. And the thing is, if you don't allow them to, that takes away from the joy of their giving. And the only way that can connect and come together is when we are asking. So even I'm practicing that lesson, right? And if you're more on the energetic of like, I can do it, I got this, great. But you can only go through that for so long. At some point, you have to surround yourself with people who can uplift you, who believes in your dreams, who also pour into you and feed into you rather than taking and taking all the time. And I hope you find ways for you to recognize that. And if you don't worry, I'm going to give you the tools. At least, let's see, how much time do we have? I'll give you a few tools for you to walk away with so that you are able to apply them immediately, literally right when we wrap. So as I was reflecting, and in a way, I'm still constantly in reflecting mode. This is the winter season, and for myself, I do a lot of reflection. And that comes from a lot of practice, because growing up and just knowing, my rhythm and how I used to run is that I'm completely, a doer. I have to take action. I like taking action, and sometimes to a fault, because I did not honor the rest. I did not honor the pauses, and I did not honor in recognizing that you actually speed up when you take a step back to rest. And if you're feeling those signs to do so and you're not listening, guess what? Universe, spirit, God will put it in your path to do so. And it may come in different ways. It may come in having symptoms of illness. It may come in tension and chaos happening in your job, in your schoolwork, whatever position you're in and what you're doing. And when it looks like it's not flowing and not moving in the direction that you want, like you're feeling blocked or you're feeling stuck, it's there for you to see the contrast to actually move in a different direction. Because how do you know to do something differently if you weren't receiving all of these signs? And I know we are always asking for signs, right? Like you're praying and you're like, angels, ancestors, God, spirit, whoever speaks to you, give me a sign. Show me something to move towards my next steps, as an example. And sure enough, I believe that we are constantly given signs. The thing is, are we stepping back to pay attention, to listen, and actually follow it? Even if it doesn't sound like it makes sense. That's the best part. But that doesn't make sense. Or here's even something better if you may be experiencing this too. Well, that's not the answer that I wanted, so I don't think that's the right one. See how we self-sabotage when we're asking a higher power or something greater outside of ourselves to guide us? Because when we're just fully guiding ourselves, oftentimes that's ego, and you're going to be back to where you are, or you're just going to, or rather you're going to stay where you are, where you're going to stay where you're at, and you're not going to get to where you want to be. So with all of that said, and all of my reflection, I came down to my top 11, and I will share though with you, I have my little list here, if you see me. I will share with you really the top 3. So the first one is to embrace uncertainty. That's a really big one, huh? Because if you're similar to me and you're wanting to only do the steps that you feel are in your favor and will land you a particular result, then you can get stuck in really beating yourself up because you're trying to figure out how to get from point A to point B, and you're trying all the steps, but nothing's landing, and then you get frustrated. So when you're embracing uncertainty, it's because now you're bringing in higher power. You're bringing in something, when you focus on that true desire of yours, can you trust that the result's going to come anyway? And letting go of the outcome of what you think it should look like. For example, this is a really big one, and I want to share this one because everyone's always having money troubles. So when you are waiting for a particular amount of money to land, do you understand that it may come in a certain, it doesn't come in a particular way. So that way, when you're dipping into something infinite, something greater than you, right? When we're praying and when we are asking for guidance from, again, spirit, source, whatever, lands for you, can you believe that when you have already put it out there, that the vibration is going to come back to you in the same way that you put it out? So it may not come to you as a check. It may not come to you as a raise. It may, but see what I mean when we're limited in how money can come to us? It can be from a gift. It can be from so many other things. So in learning this lesson, like over time, it relieves you of so much more tension about, well, man, I need the money. What am I going to do? Right? And so if you're an entrepreneur, it's infinite possibilities. It's infinite possibilities. And so you've just got to sit down and get real with yourself and see how you want to serve. Right? Or maybe you are in a job and you feel like you want to start, like you deserve a raise. Maybe it's starting that first conversation of, okay, I think it's time for me to have this conversation with my boss, with my manager, and build up that courage to have that heart-to-heart conversation and say, hey, I'm ready. I want to level up. I believe, I want to earn more income. I want to have this conversation with you. What's the worst they can say? No, right? And so that's like the first one. And I want to continue on. I want to keep going and share the last two. In the meantime, let's take a quick break for sharing the sponsors of our episode today and just sharing thanks. I'll be right back. What's up, family? I am Anita Vita, Master Medical Qigong teacher and healer. I believe that nurses deserve to be nurtured as much as they give. As a high-performing woman myself, I coach women how to overcome chronic gut pain so that they have total freedom in their life through their practice of medical Qigong. In 2011, while working as a nurse in the post-anesthesia unit, I experienced severe burnout, and it expressed itself as IBS, or irritable bowel syndrome. Discovering this practice allowed me to eradicate this gut disease completely and naturally through meditation alone. The slow, mindful movements of medical Qigong are potent and transformational, recalibrating your cellular structure by cultivating your body's natural energy and healing source called Qi. Today, I coach and empower women to achieve the same result through private and group programs, workshops, and retreat experiences to awaken you to your truth and be the highest version of yourself. If you're still in pain, you've tried everything, and you're sick and tired going from doctor to doctor with only prescriptions and strict diets as solutions, fear no more, my friend, because you have found me. Send me a message right now at anita@nacionvita.com and we'll get you to rise out of that pain, guaranteed.
𝘕𝘰𝘮𝘪 Management is a company dedicated to empowering individuals and businesses in entertainment, special events, talent management, content creation, digital and traditional marketing, and public relations, in working together to turn their dreams into reality. Get one step closer to elevating yourself and your business by contacting hello@𝘕𝘰𝘮𝘪management.com. Let us empower you.
Now let's get back to the show. Okay, so I started to just review my list because there's so many on there that I wrote. And the one thing that I also, part two, the second thing I want to share with you is to recognize that tension is a catalyst for change. In a way, I already started talking about it, right? So what do I mean by that? So if you're comfortable, think about it this way. If you're comfortable, you're just moving along, right? You're just going from place to place. You're going through your morning routine and then, just like your regular schedule. Now, what is tension? So tension is when you're a bit contracted. There's a bit of, there's something that's kind of telling you like, whoa, this doesn't feel good. This isn't right. Something's off. So if you're not listening to that message and you pretend like you're not hearing it, it builds and builds. So when something is building, what happens? There's pressure, right? So when pressure is building, though, what do you do with it? You have to move the energy. You have to transform it in some way, right? Because it's not created. It has to just transform. So how do we do that? So for example, we already did topic of money. So for example, how do you do that? I think let's use the example of a toxic place of work. Right. Let's do that. And I think a lot of you can relate to staying in a job that you're not meant to be in any longer, yet sometimes fears show up and you're like, well, I've always seen myself doing this position. What else is out there? And so when you're asking yourself for something more because you're seeing more for yourself, that's when tension starts to arise in a positive way. So when you're already seeing signs of maybe this place isn't for you, or, you want to move forward in maybe still the same company, just a different position, then you start to reevaluate. And again, that takes reviewing. So how do you review? So the way you start reviewing is, some of you, if you haven't already started, journaling is one. Or if you're not a journaling type of person, you can just bullet point list of, well, what is happening in the last, I don't know, let me give me a number. Let's see. In the last 10 years of my life, what did I commit to in this in this job? Where was my initial intention? And then you start to see how you deviated from that, or how far, you've come to being there from the start, and how much it's changed. So then you get to review, well, initially I came, to this position. I'll share my example. I originally became a nurse because I wanted to help sick people. I literally wanted to help others. I think I know for myself that I naturally support in that way, and I was inspired by my mom and multiple other people to go in that direction. And then the tensions of me and my body not wanting to be there anymore, but I dedicated my entire, schooling to it, and just learning to do the work. I didn't think there was something else I wanted to do. So then what happened? So the tension inside my body was like, okay, well then maybe it's not the ICU unit I need to be in. Let me transfer somewhere else and change positions into a daytime position. So because I was coming from a nighttime position to now a daytime position. So that helped, and that was okay. And the thing is, when you go from one place to another, if you're not really looking inside of yourself of what's causing, what the root cause is, it follows you. So what I did though was I removed myself from that environment that started to feel toxic for me, and then just to see the difference. Because if it wasn't for me where I moved to next, I probably would just find something else. So that's what I mean by transferring over, like tension. There's tension here. That's asking me to do what? To make change. That's all there is. The thing is, how many of us are listening? How many of us are paying attention? And follow your intuition. So if your gut instinct is like, I really shouldn't be here, and you're like, yeah, in your body, right? Does this feel good? Or even in, when you're thinking about it, see what lands for you. What feeling comes up in your body? Because when it's bold and you're like, you're right, I am done. That, that feeling like, man, I am done. Everyone's gone through that. And then you make change and you do it. Or do you stick with that feeling and say you're done, but still stay there? So what happens? It starts to build. The pressure builds, right? And then it can come up in multiple ways. Again, it could be dis-ease in your body. It could be anxiety. It could come up as depression. Like those symptoms could be physical symptoms. And now coupled with those emotions that you're not willing to look at, like, actually, this makes me angry. I don't want to do this. Or this actually makes me sad. This drains me, this type of work, or actually I want to return to school. Actually, I want to start a business. Like there's these things about yourself, don't forget that creative aspect, because that's so, so important in helping you move through all the tension in your life. I'm just giving you one example in terms of fears around money as well as toxic places of work. Because now you're just following somebody who's telling you what to do. And then if you don't have a creative outlet and also a space for you to share your views on things, or you're willing to, but you haven't said anything, then that's where we start to be unaligned. So I hope that second part was helpful, and that you now are finding ways to voice what's important to you, to align to your values. And the last thing I want to talk about is, I thought I had it, and then it's diverting me to something else. Because it was such a great topic, in class today. Every time I do Tai Chi class, you guys, it just changes everything up. It's also a part of my list, but I didn't word it in this way. And I think whoever is listening, I'm going to turn off my phone now and not listen, not pay attention to the list. Whoever is listening into this episode, I believe that you will receive great value. So the third thing is to honor and ask for your worth. You don't have to have a business to follow that statement and see where it lands for you. Because the first time I ever heard it, I was like, what does that mean? To ask for my worth, to negotiate for my worth. So you don't have to have, when I share, you don't have to have a business, although I'm sure a lot of business owners relate to this, especially when you're starting out, that for some reason, we follow some kind of gradient through the guidance of others who've come before us. The thing that we forget is we're all individuals. So the strategies for one person is not going to be the same for another. So that's why the inward journey is so important. So when you're bombarded by a ton of strategies from other people, you're still very aware of coming from your space and your truth and what feels good for you. So until you're able to kind of excavate all of that within yourself, it's easy to just follow somebody's template. And then you're going to wonder why it didn't work for you. Because they're also very different. They think differently. They feel differently, you know. So just start to recognize where you can begin with that. And that's really, and I think in the simplest terms, it's believing in yourself, believing you can ask for the raise that for the raise that you believe you deserve because you've put in X amount of value for this company and for this person or for whatever, fill in the blank, right? And it was so good, you know. I know it's a path not easily talked about charging for your worth, about worthiness, about feeling enough, and that for some reason, unfortunately, in our culture, we tend to compare ourselves to each other and then judge from that place of deservingness, or is that even a word? Of feeling that you're worthy and enough, and forgetting the fact that you're already born with it. That the fact that you're living and breathing makes you already worthy. So whatever you create, whatever you put out, is going to be beautiful. The thing is, and the truth is, it's up to you to believe that in yourself. Because no matter how many mentors you have, no matter how many strategies you try to implement, if you don't believe that you can move forward with something or believe that you deserve to have it, then it wouldn't matter. So I hope that in that last share around worthiness, that you now have something to start with. To believe that you are a creator in your own right, that you have all the resources in the world to make something happen for yourself, and that there's always somebody there who's willing to lead you, to show you another way. If something that you've been doing for so long is no longer working, it's okay to change. It's okay to ask for more. It's okay to go after something that you have always had your heart on to start or begin and that even if it's too big, it's still meant for you. And when you finally do it, imagine the feeling and the joy and the freedom from suffering that has been sitting in within yourself. Because you made that decision. So this year, it is my hope and my wish for you to have the courage to ask for change. Because all of these things that we're feeling around the world, even, and within yourself, is there for a reason. And I believe your greatest healing will come from the fullness expression of yourself. And as we know, we don't know what tomorrow brings. So whatever is in your heart now, to move forward with it. It may start with picking up that book that you've always wanted to, check out. An event that you've always wanted to see or experience. A teacher who you've always wanted to try and connect with and learn about their work. Because the results in your life is your responsibility. You take accountability for it. Nobody else. And in today's technology and the world we live in, it's so easy to learn things. It's so easy to put things together, to start a podcast. I didn't think I was going to start a podcast. Here I am almost a year later. And no matter how many times my producer or my team will be like, Anita, you got this. I believe in you. They will believe in you until you believe in yourself and until you actually make those moves and take those few baby steps, or if you got to crawl, that's when you'll know. That's when you'll know, when you finally say yes to whatever it is on your heart. And I believe I'm complete. I shared a lot with you today, and I'm really grateful for this solo episode. If you watch my first solo episode, I'm just such a spaz, right? I don't know what I'm like. In the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. What do I share? Who's going to listen to me? It's a show now. It's not just a regular Facebook Live. It's exactly the same, you guys, just a different platform. And this is honestly, in a way, a source of healing for me, for me to share, and for me to share what I've gone through, in hopes that you will also learn and that it would land on your heart. Or if you know somebody who's going through something, you share the episode. So I hope that 2022 will bring your greatest desires to fruition, and that I'm always honored to help others walk this path to their greatness. And if you're looking for any guidance, especially in self-healing, especially in removing suffering in your life, especially if it's related to your health and well-being and eliminating physical pain, I got you. I will be sure to make sure that my light cleanses all of that gunk inside of yourself, so that you too can activate your greatness, that you too can go for your greatest aspirations. And so I'm really grateful for the school I'm a part of, the Way of Qi, and learning all the wisdom. I know that this episode just got extra spicy because of me showing up to class today, and I did not want to go to class today. I was like, I think I'm just gonna chill out, and sure enough, I didn't chill out. I'm so grateful for the wisdom, Sifu Eric Randolph, shout out to him real quick, because it's such an honor and a blessing to have teachers who really believe in you, who believe in your well-being, especially in the realm of growth and not being mediocre. I think that if anything in class today, that was one thing that landed for me. It was to strive to be better and to the best of your ability and to the best that you can be. Because then what happens? You show up even greater for your your friends, your family, and your coworkers and your workplace. Like, there's so many benefits from you really taking care of you, right? So many things to come in 2022. Like I said, I'm open for one-on-one coaching if this path speaks to you. I'm excited to launch this amazing group program that's coming right up. So if you're not already a part of my newsletter to get to know all the things, make sure you subscribe. Just go to my website at www.nacionvita.com or direct message me at Nurses Rise on Instagram, or even leave comments when this show wraps. And I'm just so excited. We are having an amazing live event in May. I get to just share that out loud, so look out for that. And I'm going to do it in collaboration with some amazing, amazing women. I will drop the details. So because there's so much going on, it really is best to just subscribe to my community. So I hope that you had a wonderful just evening with me today as we lead in and open up to January and to the months to come. And I look forward to always serving you. And as always, you guys, I root for your rise. Have a good night, everyone.
Anita Vita